guys, we're here with the question and answer video, and so we're gonna shout out the questions, and then you guys can will answer it for you. Our first question is, why do you have the worms?
We have the worms because we feed them to the quail, and then we also sell the worms out for composting. A lot of people like to have the worms for composting.
The next question is, can you eat the worms?
Yes, you can eat the worms. You can fry them up or just chop them up whole. Chop them up and then just throw them in your salad. You can cook them. They're better if you cook them, so you just put a little oil in a pan and throw them in there and just fry them up with a little salt. A lot of people use them in soups and salads. That's where they're normally used.
Mrs. Franz will never taste a worm. Thank you very much. Next question is, can they crawl out of the bins?
No, they cannot crawl out of the bins because the bins are too slippery. The beetles could potentially crawl out if we leave the lid open, but chances are they're not going to get out. The only time that they ever get out is when we're changing out their food or a carrot or something. We pull a carrot out, we didn't realize that there was a worm inside the carrot, and that's pretty much the only way they can get out.
And next one, are super worms really fast?
Super worms are not really fast. They're the same speed as all the other worms. They don't move very fast. They are bigger, so because they're bigger, they can cover a space a lot faster than the little guys.
Okay, and then how many worms are in the bin?
That is a really good question. I don't know. I don't know how many worms are in the bin, because each beetle can lay up to 800 eggs, anywhere between 300 to 800 eggs. And depending upon how many beetles there are and how many eggs they lay, depending upon how many worms are in there. But if I had to guess, I'd figure probably somewhere around 5,000 to 10,000 worms per each bin. Somewhere around there.
Way too many. All right, now we're going to move on to the quail. One of the questions was, how many eggs do they produce a day?
Okay, so quail, the Coturnix quail, which the ones that you guys saw in the video, will only produce 1 egg a day if they have about 18 hours of sunlight a day. Now, sometimes what can happen if the bird gets too stressed out, whether there's bad weather or anything else, like last night we had a really heavy rain, so they might be really stressed out today and may not lay as many eggs as they would normally. That can happen, but on average they lay 1 egg a day.
Our next question is, how long do they produce eggs?
So Coturnix quail on average live up to be about 2 years old. There's been some reports of some of them living up to 5 or 6, but the egg production usually drops off after 1 year. Then they don't produce eggs as much anymore after 1 year. And
our next question is, how big do they get?
So on average, your standard quail can get up to about 9 ounces as the biggest. When we talk about our jumbo quail, they can get up to 14 ounces tops, maybe 15, very rarely ever 15, but on average between 12 and 14 ounces.
So Mrs. Franz's question is, what is ounces compared to pounds?
Okay, so there's 16 ounces to a pound. So these quail are almost, the jumbos are almost a pound, not quite. And the average quail, 8 to 9 ounces, is about a half a pound.
Awesome, thank you. And our next question is, can you eat the quail?
Yes, you can eat the quail, just like in the wild. If you go hunting for like the California quail with the guys with little top notches, these taste about the same as those. But yes, you can eat them. You can cook them in stew or fry them up or barbecue them or pretty much do anything with them because they're just a regular meat like anything else. So another question we also had was, can the quail eggs have a double yolk? And what we mean by double yolk means that there's two eggs inside the shell.
So they're twins.
Yes. So can that happen? Yes. Does it happen? Yes. But do they hatch? On average, they do not hatch. So even if the eggs are fertile, so the way we tell a fertile egg would be that there's a little white dot on the yolk. So if they're both fertile in the egg, there's not enough room for both of the birds to develop within the egg. So sometimes the egg may develop and there only may be one in there, but most of the time, I would say about 98% of the time, the egg won't make it and there won't be any hatching. So with the double yolk. So that was one of the other questions that we had too. So.
And we're gonna get ready and move on to the next part where we're going to show you what the yolk of the duck egg, regular egg, a chicken egg, and a quail egg look like. And then Mr. Franz will show you how you know that they're fertile or not fertile. And Mr. Franz, can you explain about fertile? What does that mean?
Okay, so fertile means that the egg will hatch. That means if I take the egg and I put it in the incubator, and the incubator keeps it at about 99.5 degrees or 99.8, somewhere around in there, then it could potentially hatch. But there's always a lot of factors that go into hatching the eggs. It could be heat, inflection in heat, so you got too hot or too cold. The other thing could be is bacteria that's on the outside of the egg can also affect the hatching of the egg. So fertile eggs means that if it's incubated and everything goes right, a chick can hatch from it. Non-fertile or not fertile means that no chick can hatch from it no matter what we do. No matter if I incubate it for a long time or higher temps or lower temps, it doesn't matter. It will not hatch. So like all the chicken eggs you get in the grocery store will not hatch because they're non-fertile eggs.
Hopefully, because I've had a fertile egg come from the store.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, but very, very, very rarely does it ever happen.
Is there anything else you want to tell them, Mr. Franz, before we film the eggs?
Nope, I think that's about it.
All right, awesome, guys. So in just a few seconds, we will open up these eggs and you can see what they look like inside. All right? Guys, we're going to start with the duck egg. Let's see what it looks like inside. I'm going to crack it. Maybe. It's really hard to crack. I've never cracked a duck egg before. Ooh, look at that yolk. Is that a big yolk? Woo! Just as big as the egg. Okay, ready for a chicken egg? You guys have probably all seen these. There you go. See the duck egg compared to the chicken egg? And this one, the quail egg. So I can pat all I want. The quail egg won't open, so I have to use a knife. They have very hard shells. So I'm going to pull him out. And there's our little baby quail egg. So when you're looking at these, Mr. Franz has a way to tell if they are fertile or not fertile. So if you look at the duck egg, look right here. You can see the little white thing in there. That means it's fertile. If it doesn't have a little white thing in there, it means it's not fertile. You can eat fertile eggs and eat normal eggs. It doesn't matter. Let's check the chicken egg. So I think I see one right there. Right there, the little white thing. That means that little guy is fertile. Means that you could make a baby if you incubated it. And then the quail egg, this side I don't see anything, but let's flip it over.
If you guys look carefully, you can see the white spot.
Okay. I don't see it.
See, look right here, guys.
Oh.
There's the white spot. on the quail egg.
So all of these eggs are fertile. If we hadn't put this in the fridge, we might have been able to incubate them all. We could have had a duck, a chicken, and a quail.